Hello guys, myself Vishnu V. My channel is Vishnu Lives. I got a very good response from students who viewed this channel regarding my travel to Canada during the ban. So some of the inquiries I received from students was regarding the travel documents and the questions which were asked in the airport. So basically there are certain documents which I carried with respect to my agency, which they said to carry. There's no standard operating procedure for that. It can vary with respect to people. So it's personal to me, and it's a personal experience which I'm going to do in this video. What all documents were asked, and what all documents which I carried, and what all questions were asked in the immigration while we are transiting to a transiting city, as well as the questions which were asked from the Indian airport, as well as the questions which were asked in the immigration at Canadian airport, that is Toronto, for me. So it can vary with respect to people. You will be having a separate SOP. You can follow that, and it's my personal experience, I can say. So first and foremost thing, which document is one of the main important document is your passport and your visa stamped on that. So this will be verified at the airport which you are immigrating from, the host city which you are traveling. That's for me it was Cochin. From Kerala. So they asked about they asked for me the passport and the visa. They checked for the visa validity. Then they asked a very basic minimal questions regarding what course you are going to do. As I had a 10 years experience, so my background was in engineering side, and you are going for a management side. They asked why you are going for the management side. So I explained with my personal opinions. They were satisfied with that. No other questions were raised in the airport. Then going forward, the next document I can say is the air ticket. If you book earlier, you will get a very tickets on the minimal rate. Like we booked earlier for Emirates, but that flight was cancelled in between. So for me, it was an emergency flight. I had to pay more. My cost was around 1,40,000, nearby to 1,40,000 for the entire air ticket till Toronto, as it was transiting through a transiting city. So there are several flights available right now through indirect route. There are routes available, so you can check with the agencies or any of the travel operators for that. So air ticket you have to confirm prior to your travel before you go to the airport. There is an option for online check-in and all. You can avoid the crowds. You can do the check-in early itself, because in my case I had to wait for 2 hours in the airport because my flight was Oman Air, and it was transiting through there are a lot of passengers who were transiting through Oman and who were doing quarantine at Oman. So I had to wait for 2 hours in the airport. So you can avoid by doing it in online. When I checked into the domestic airport in Toronto also, I faced same issue because I had to travel from Toronto to Moncton. That's my my place where I'm going to study. So there was an online check-in. Kiosk check-in was available. So if you can do online check-in, that's okay. Otherwise, you can directly do a kiosk check-in or a direct office check-in when you enter the airport. Then other thing is the letter of acceptance. That's the offer letter that's issued by the university. The date should be mentioned very clear. What is the start date? What is the end date? In my case, there were certain issues with respect to the end date. So that was clarified. I spoke to the university, and they issued me a new LOA, which was mentioning all kind of dates. So when you arrive in airport, immigration officer will clearly check the dates where your study permit will be issued with respect to the dates mentioned in the LOA. So be clear on that. Next is the very important document which people used to ask me is the travel support letter. In my case, I didn't have a travel support letter. It is not insisted also. When you log into the GC, when you log into the travel.gca, you can see the documents mentioned. Never there is a mention of travel support letter. But you can insist on an enrollment letter from a university or college. That's very important. When you're traveling, it's a very important document. That is one of the things, is that enrollment letter, because they come to know that whether your course has started. And you can travel 3 weeks prior to the start of a course also. So they'll be very clear that this person has enrolled and is a part of the university or college. So instead of travel support letter, I can install this is your personal enrollment letter, which is issued from the university. So you can get it from the university or college which you are studying. The next document is regarding the quarantine reservation. Normally, when you check into the ArriveCAN app, the documents which they are asking, the address which you are asking for is the 11-day quarantine. If you are doing a 11-day quarantine, they require address in that, because after the 3-day quarantine, you have to do a 11-day quarantine in Toronto. In other case, the students will be traveling to other province. There will not be a requirement of an 11-day quarantine. There is no requirement of that. You can directly travel to your province. In my case, I didn't get the permission from my province, that was New Brunswick. So I had to stay there for around 14 days in Toronto. In between, I got permission by applying. So the main address which I gave was regarding my with respect to my Airbnb address, because 3-day quarantine we are going to do in hotel. No one will search for that. just basic minimal questions will be asked in the airport regarding your hotel quarantine. They will just ask where your hotel, and for the pickup they will arrange also. Nothing else. But your 11-day quarantine they will ask, and the police person will visit the place and ask regarding your quarantine, whether you're sharing with any other people, nothing like that. No issues regarding share if you're traveled together. So basic minimal questions will be asked by the police officer. And in my case, the police officer came on the 10th day when I am completing the 11 days quarantine after my 3 days. So he came on the 10th day, and he asked me certain questions whether you're going out or nothing like that. So issues were solved. No issues were faced in that case. And next one is the tuition fees receipt. There's a fees receipt which you get from the university or college. That's an important document. One of the document important is LOA, enrollment letter, and other one is the fees receipt. You should have paid the complete fees of the first year, or what has been prescribed by your college or university. That should be paid. That receipt should be there. That's an important document. Then next one is the GIC receipt, which you have when you are opening an account in any of the banks like CABC or Scotia Bank. You will get a receipt. You have to carry that. These documents are not required in the transiting city or the immigration when you are doing in India, but it is received when it is one of the main document when you arrive in Toronto, any other airport in Canada. They will insist on that document, whether it's a fees receipt and where is the your GIC receipt. Then next one is the biometric instruction letter, BIL. In my case, BIL was not asked. They will ask for BVL, biometric verification letter. That is a letter which comes prior to your original passport request. So there are certain documents like BIL, BVL, then your original passport request. You can carry that also. That's other documents which you have to carry in your hand. But they don't insist on that kind of documents like biometric instruction letter or biometric verification letter or your original passport request. Mainly they will ask for your port of entry letter. That's the main thing. That's the last correspondence letter which you get after punching off your visa in your passport. In my case, my visa was stamped on March 24th. So in my GC key, the port of entry letter reflected with that date, corresponding date, March 24th. That's a letter mentioning that you will be getting a study permit. When you show this letter to the immigration officer, that will be mentioned that this is not a travel document, like that will mention. So there's a document which will be seen in your GC key with respect to the date which your passport has been stamped. In my case, it was March 24th. In other case, it will be with respect to your own individual dates. So that's one of the important document you have to carry. Most of the people used to forget to carry this port of entry letter. My colleague also didn't carry. This letter was asked when I was traveling through a transiting city in my Germany. I traveled through from Cochin to Muscat, Muscat to Frankfurt, and Frankfurt to Toronto. When I reached Frankfurt, they asked for this letter, this port of entry letter. In Oman, they didn't ask this kind of letters. Only they asked for the fees receipt, your GIC, your enrollment letter. Enrollment letter was very important for boarding flight from Muscat. And your LOA. These were the documents they asked in Oman Air. But in Frankfurt, they asked for the port of entry letter. That's very important. That will be asked when you arrive in the Toronto airport also. Then people used to ask me whether it's a requirement of any of the documents like our certificates. If you can carry, then it's okay. If otherwise you can carry as a digital copy. They don't ask for your original certificates because it has been verified by the university or college which you are enrolled. So there is no requirement of these documents. But if required, you can carry a single copy of these sheets. All other documents you can carry a minimum of 3 copies. Every document will be verified and returned to you at the end of that session. So there is no requirement of keeping more copies. I personally insist to have 3 copies. If someone wants it in more copies or something, personally carry 3 copies. Otherwise, it's 1 copy is okay. Try to carry every document as a digital documents also. If someone is in what the issue you are going to face in airport itself, you'll be in a hurry, and you'll be asked for documents in an immediate manner. One document you're presenting, again they will ask for other document, so you'll be getting messed up. So carry all documents as a single word in a PDF file also. That's also will support. Detail they are also accepting. But in your case, please carry minimum 3 copies if okay. If it's okay with you. In other documents like certificates, you can carry your passport copy also, your birth certificate if required, then your all degree and PG certificates and experience certificates if required. That's not mandatory. And other important documents, the next document we can say is the medical reference letter. That's the medical which you have done, and it should be valid for that during the travel period. It should be valid for 1 year. Actually, normally it's valid for 1 year. When you travel, this document should be valid. It should not be expired. You should take a new medical while you're traveling. This is also one of the important documents you have to carry. Then if you're transiting through other cities, that's other document is valid travel insurance. That's the main thing. If something happens to you while traveling, if someone is getting COVID positive in a new transit city, in our case it was very different case, because we transited through Muscat and we were not issued visa. So there is, if you have medical insurance also, there is no use. You have to pay from your pocket. But there are people traveling through Ethiopia and all, so they will be getting visas. You can get out and get a treatment. So medical insurance is very important. If something happens, you want to travel or when you are boarding any other place in a transit city, this will be helpful. Carry a travel insurance that will be normally covered for 1 month. Next one. And next documents I can say is the Canadian dollar. In my case, I carried around $3,000 in cash. The big mistake I committed was that we were traveling in a group. So we made a plan to carry half of the money in currency and half of the money in travel card. You can purchase an international travel card. And my friend took an international travel card for around $2,000, and I initially purchased $2,000 in cash. So we were planning to travel together, but my friend got COVID positive and he tested from the Cochin airport prior to his immigration in Cochin airport. So he couldn't travel. So I cannot take his travel card also, because it's mentioned in his name. You should carry the receipt of the currency you have exchanged also. It should be in your name. The travel card also insists on your name. So if any checkings comes up, you can show that it's your personal card. So when you exchange your card, when you exchange your currency, please insist on a bill of that with your name or a passport number. Normally they provide with that. So carry that also. And I can insist on carrying a travel card for your personal use also. You can carry half of the money in travel card and half of the money in currency. The main issue with the people who are traveling to other province, they have to quarantine and more money will be required. If you are traveling to Toronto, it will be done with your $2,000 or something, $1,000 in hand or $1,000 in cash. You can carry $1,000 in card also, it's okay. Other area where you can use travel card is that when you're transiting through a city, you don't want to carry currency of the city. You can use this travel card. Because sometimes there will be a layer of 3 to 4 hours or 5 hours. If you want to purchase a coffee, if you want to have some beverages, we can directly use this travel card. We use it in the Frankfurt airport. It will be costlier, but you can use that travel card where the currency will not be used. And other areas that when you're traveling to a domestic airport, when you're traveling from Toronto to any other domestic airport, there will be a luggage check-in where you have to use a card. They will not allow you to pay in cash. You have to use the card itself. So there also you can use a travel card. So please carry half the money in currency as well as half of the money in card. That will be helpful for you people. I think $3,000 is okay with you people. Some people carry 2,000 people. That's also fine. The people who are arriving in Toronto, maximum up to 2,000 will be okay with you people. And next one is PCC. There is no requirement of PCC for a student visa. In my case, I didn't carry. If you want, you can carry. It's my personal opinion. If you have a standard operating procedure, others, you can carry a PCC. These are the most of the documents I have covered with respect to my travel. And next one I can say is the if you want, one of the important thing is that RT-PCR. That's one of the important documents you have to carry from India. Your negative COVID certificate from India, and it should have a QR code. Normally they insist on a QR code, most of the foreign countries. So negative RT-PCR certificate is valid only till your first transit city. When you travel from India, it will be valid. After that, you have to take a negative RT-PCR from the other country which you're transiting. In my case, it was Muscat. So I had a negative RT-PCR from it will be valid for 72 hours. So I had to carry it till Toronto. So this negative RT-PCR certificate should be shown there. This other document, very important document, and you should not miss on that. If possible, keep a digital copy of that. Most of the labs provide a physical copy. You carry physical copy, that's mandatory, because when you do the check-in and all, you have to show the physical copy. If you miss it up, please carry a soft copy also. But the issue is that there should be a QR code. That QR code should be scannable. So that's the other thing. Then you can carry a photo identification proof apart from your passport. If required, you can carry a driving license. I don't know regarding the rules regarding the taking a license in Canada. I think I heard that if you carry a license with your license particulars, it will be helpful to get a license or not. I don't know the rules. You can ask other people or get an expert opinion on that. Please carry if you required. You can carry your license or any other ID cards if required. These are the main documents which I carried. So I'm repeating, the main document which you have to carry is port of entry, LOA, fees receipt, medical, then your GIC receipt. These are one of the main documents, and enrollment letter also. These are the main documents you have to carry. This is very important. And the next part of the video deals with the questions asked in the airport. This was also personal to me. I cannot tell this as a standard operating procedures. You can go for a particular questions were asked for to me. Like the first and foremost thing when I entered the airport was there was an initial screening area in which I was asked why you're coming to, like they will greet you anyway. First and foremost, they will greet you. They'll keep you cool. And then ask why did you travel to Canada? So I told I'm an international student. So the next question asked by the immigration officer was why you are traveling to Canada right now in this pandemic season. So in my case, my first semester was over. I have resigned from my job and I've been sitting in my home for the last 1 month after my completing of all procedures of my resignation in my office. I'm completing serving the notice period also. So I told him that this is the case, and the other thing is that he asked me, then there is an online class process. You can continue with your online class, no? So I told the issue with the online class is that we cannot. There is a time difference in online class, so I didn't want to follow the time difference. It is very difficult to follow also, and I want to concentrate on that my education. So that was the answer which I gave. Then the next question was regarding the route which you travel. That also I answered through my transit city I have traveled. All these documents which required for transit city also were shown. My RTPs are also shown. Then he asked me regarding the whether you're carrying a meat items. So I told no, I am not carrying any meat items. I didn't carry also. They ask you for declaring when you're reaching the Toronto airport in your flight itself that paper will be issued, but you have to declare if you're carrying any meat items. These are the other main basic questions they ask. In immigration, they checked all your documents, your RT-PCR result, then they will issue a study permit, and they will ask you to read all the details which is mentioned in the study permit. So rest was okay. In immigration, main documents was asked for me was RT-PCR, nothing else. My documents were checked, all my LOA, fees receipt, everything was checked, then my study permit was issued. So these are the basic questions which were asked in immigration. You can face any other questions. If you have got any inquiries, you can put in, you can send us inquiries to my chat box if you have got any other questions also. So in my case, I shared my experience. You people will be having a different experience. You can share your own experience too, and we can on this common platform we can develop as well as we can get more infos on this travel. More people will be aspiring to reach Toronto. In my case, I am also very happy to reach here, and I am also happy for the response which I got. So I think this video also will be informative to you people who are traveling. So the support which you have given, I thank you for that. I thank you for that almost. Please do subscribe to my channel for more updates on my travel. I travel to Moncton, so I'll do a video on traveling to Moncton also. So be happy, stay safe. Please like, share and subscribe my channel for further updates. Thank you.